Alright, this Big Boss Foxhound Woods Ball coming to you for Shooting Hot TV. Right now I'm going through some of my gear, some stuff like that, and I figured time to have a little bit of fun, you might say, and show off some of the stuff that I've got. Okay, so now we've got the collection going on here. Just about everything I've gathered over 6-7 years worth of playing. First paintball gun, well, my second one, my very first Tipman, the A5 Classic. This thing is the original. As you can see, the pre-recall back plate to it. It's got the swivel sling mount. This thing has served me very well. It still shoots very good. Modeled after an H&K MP5K submachine gun. I removed the ASS line for the capability of having a direct feed up here for the CO2 tank. We even got the flat line with these 3 screws here, which are a quick change, but this thing is in definite need of repair and upgrade. As you can see, flat line wiggles out, so I'm definitely buying new receivers, stuff like that, because right here it's gotten so worn that even the flatline barrel is not snug and not as tight, so shots off a little bit. Other than that, this thing's getting worked on. My current one, as you've seen from a few of my other videos, my iconic X7 with all the bells and whistles of a tactical combat rifle. My brother's 98 Custom, outfitted to look like the classic Automat Kalashnikov 1947. Though you can see with the top piece here from F.E.A.R, it's a rail system. Where is it? As you can see right over here, I'm not sure if you can see it that well. My brother actually spent 3 hours with a hacksaw just to cut this thing to fit for the Cyclone feed. Other than that, we put the M4A2 carry handle rear sight assembly with the Weaver mount for RIS optics. It actually sights in pretty good with the X7 AK front sight to complete the overall Kalashnikov look and style. My brother's current primary marker is a Tipman US Army Alpha Black with the E-trigger Cyclone feed. We also put the Project Salvo front end on here for RIS usage for optics sights, with the front sight which matches up to the rear sight on here, and Evike 203. Very nicely done. The S-Thunder. This baby, 1:1 scale reproduction of the AR-15 line of automatic small arms. This thing is beautiful. 21-inch barrel, airsoft style hop-up adjustment on the inside. As you can see, pull this baby back. You see the bolt. 25 round mag. This thing, though, it's a nice gun to shoot, great to have fun with. Because it's unregulated, its usage for regulated paintball fields is non-existent. Though I will say, it is very nice for a conversation piece and whatnot. And also very nice just for fun, just to shoot. My brother's first marker. This is the Spider TLR. Folding stock. You've seen this in the first episode of Shooting Hot TV. It's a good gun. Nice, accurate, but it's not a mil-sim gun. But it's mainly keep it as aesthetic purposes, backup, stuff like that. Now, TPX pistol. This one's out of my stash. one of those very nice handy piece, tactical, though it does need some modifications. This is all stock. And the ambiguous flare guns, though who says anything about these things being flares? S Thunder, as you can see, their 40mm shocker line. Always a nice thing to have with you. But this pretty much is the family. With the exception of the S Thunders and the Spider there, everything else is pure blood Tipman, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, welcome back. Now we're getting into camo. A lot of this stuff I've acquired over 6 years. This is stuff I've done R&D on here and there. Stuff I've played with. Stuff I just collect. If there's anything as far as clothing goes, military issue, surplus, stuff like that, I love to collect. Everything's got a story to it. It's also a nice little bit of history here and there. First off, it's my primary woods ball gear. Well, clothing actually. De-facto woodland camouflage. This is the nice geometric patterns featuring a mix of green, khaki, brown, and black. This is in a geometric pattern. It was designed for the European scenario during the Cold War, around 80s, stuff like that, for fear of a Soviet invasion. This thing has been for paintball players in the 80s, the de facto camouflage of use. This uniform has served me very well over the years. I've worn it in JROTC as part of their summer leadership program at Camp Seminole. So, for this, served me very well, and it works. Stuff my brother first wore. Vietnam tiger stripes. This stuff is the commercial version made by True Spec, as you can see. Very good company to get your hands on stuff with. This pattern is, as I said, a commercial version of the tiger stripe pattern worn during Vietnam by LARPs, Special Forces, stuff like that. It's an evolution off of the French lizard pattern that was used during the Indochina War. As you can see, it's a 4-color like the woodland, where you got the brown, looks like a white or a khaki, green and black, the black being the quote-unquote branches. It mimics a tiger's coat, you might say. The difference between the one I've got and the one that was used in Vietnam is the ones that were used during Vietnam were produced primarily in Southeast Asia, where they had poor vegetable dyes, so continued use, you got a bleaching effect. This stuff, however, it's held out very, very well for us. As you can see, it's a little beat up here and there, but I still like it. It's still serviceable, and for me, it's just that. We also got here a nice little comparison. Air Force ABUs, Airman Battle Uniform, or Airman Barracks. This is a pixelated tiger stripe version. It's the grays, like the white and the very dark blue. As you can see, the comparison with the Vietnam version. Definitely a close cousin. Now, I got these ABUs at Goodwill, and that is a shocker right there as far as military surplus goes. And just for the proof, devil's in detail, right? So, as you can see, this little tag here, proud United States Air Force. I would say for the ABU stuff, this thing's better off in urban environments, or even like the snowy kind of stuff like you get further north. Probably around Canada, Alaska. The color pattern is definitely a nice one. But that's just on my opinion on visually looking at it. I'm nowhere near those areas to do a more effective test. So if anybody's out there with this kind of stuff, give me a holler on your feedback for it. Other than that, this ain't too bad. Standard issue Air Force. Army ACU. Yeah, I got into the trend when it first came out, so as you can see, this I absolutely love. Body armor friendly pocket placement. As you can see with the hook and loop stuff, it means you could add your patches, unit insignias, stuff like that. Mandarin collar, also a nice improvement over the older BDUs that I would prefer, but the camo style, it's a pixelated pattern. It's definitely a Army version of the Marines Marpat digital camouflage. I do not know why the Army chose this color scheme for standard issue. I will say though, the design of the uniform is a very nice one. Because of the removable patches and everything, this is also meant to be recycled, disposed of even. For special operations personnel, that means you can just take all your patches off and go on to an operation, quote unquote, sterile. But I would say, as with the ABUs, definitely better off in snowy environments, stuff like that. I've worn it a few times in games, but I would say the feedback is decent at best. But the cut pattern, you can find this in Woodland, as well as other patterns through TrueSpec or Tactical Response uniforms. Definitely a mainstay for SWAT and a lot of your law enforcement guys. 6-color desert. I love the pattern. This is stuff I saw a lot as a kid growing up. This is kind of the Gulf War stuff. Well, this one is definitely symbolic to Desert Storm. They actually kept this stuff issued until 1996 even. But you still see these in Sub-Saharan Africa and a lot of portions of the Middle East. It's now the issue uniform for the Iraqi military after Operation Iraqi Freedom. As you can see, this has got black and white flecks on it with a mixture of light brown, dark brown, khaki, and some type of a very subtle green to it. This was field trialed in mountains and places like that, but during the 91 Gulf War, when we were stationed in Saudi Arabia and actually going into Kuwait and everything, this pattern actually contrasted too greatly with the environment they were operating in. But that's when it got replaced after just a few years by the 3-color desert. As you can see with this, it's a lighter shade, different pattern altogether with the same like subtle green from the 6-color, also the brown and khaki color. They used samples from sand and everything, ironically from Saudi Arabia, to develop this pattern. Pentagon liked it because it was 20 to 30% reduction visually and 30 to 40 when you look at it through optics. So they did something right there.
Mix, yeah, Latino. Bienvenidos a mi mundo. Este party ya empezó, todo el mundo a bailar. Traigo son el colchón, me voy a emborrachar. Tráete los vasos que los tragos me voy a encargar. Mami no pares, sigue el ritmo y vamos a volar. La la, la 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 la, bebiendo la la, la 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 la, bailando la la, la 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 la. Bienvenidos al mundo de la la la, por eso la la, la 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 la, bebiendo la la, la 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 la, bailando la la, la 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 la. Bienvenidos al mundo de la la la. Ponte más ese chori que te ve muy bien, póntelo, que no quiero que tú titubes. Ponte más ese chori que te ve muy bien, póntelo, que no quiero que tú titubes. Te dije tu vena, que te ritmo de lo clásico, este flow que nace.
Alright. To sit back and finish this episode off, I like to reflect on the integrity of paintball. Now, I've posted a lot of stuff on the forums over the years about all the cool stuff, grenade launchers and things of that nature. Yet, there have always been this small group or certain people that are talking about how a lot of stuff affects the integrity of the game and paintball's image. Now, just because I carry something like this that looks like an assault rifle with the grenade launcher strapped to it and I can fire full auto, the thing looks like the real thing, but still, it's not something like this that affects the integrity of paintball. My opinion on it is that's the fear mongers, the people who are playing on the fears of how something like that would ruin the game's public image as far as the grenade launcher, stuff like that. That's like why complain about this thing? Because there are far worse things out there. The more crying about stuff, the more complaining, the more rules and restrictions, and it ruins the fun for everyone. Just get out there and play. I know, we got the rules of your local fields to abide by. That's one thing, yeah. The only thing that I don't agree on is people saying that if you shoot people with this in any field who allows it, it should be shut down. That is the hypocrisy right there, because, come on, it's paintball for God's sakes. It's not like we're running around blasting rocks out of a grenade launcher at people. But other than that, as far as the integrity of the game is concerned, the only people that are ruining the integrity of the game and paintball's public image are those people that are just doing drive-bys with paintball guns that don't even play the sport. Idiots that would rather shoot at people out on the street with a paintball gun instead of on the field at other players where it belongs. Other than that, this Big Boss. Catch you guys later.